2023 marks the 10th anniversary of the passing of former Washington Huskies football coach Don James. James won 6 Pac-8 or Pac-10 championships in 18 years of coaching at Washington and won a national championship with the Huskies in 1991. He had a winning record at Washington against all Pac-10 teams save UCLA, and the Huskies finished first or second in the conference 14 out of 18 years. In August 1982, I interviewed Coach James ahead of the upcoming season. The Huskies had won 3 of the previous 5 Pac-10 conference titles and entered the 82 season ranked number 2. The season started out well for Washington as they won their first 7 games and were ranked number 1 in the country. However, late season losses to Stanford and Washington State dashed any Pac-10 conference and Rose Bowl hopes. The Huskies won their bowl game and finished number 9 in the country that year. Coach James retired shortly before the 1993 season and died of pancreatic cancer in 2013. Now, here's that August 1982 interview with Don James on Saturday's Sportsline Memories.
We're talking with Coach Don James of the Washington Huskies on WHO's Sportsline program this evening. Coach, you're returning 10 of your starters on offense, 9 on defense. I was just wondering, do you see any people breaking through as newcomers this year, like Jock Robinson, for example?
Well, at this stage, right now in practice, Jock Robinson is on the first team. He had a good spring, and he won the battle there, so he's up on top.
And you've got no injuries that you know of right now or that are really hampering you at this point?
Well, we're in 2 days, and everybody in 2 days has nearly everybody injured of some sort. You know, there's a lot of sore muscles, and we had one wide receiver, David Trimble, dislocate a finger catching the ball and has had minor surgery. But at this moment, no one would be declared out of the first ball game.
I was wondering, Coach, should you be considered the favorite in this year's Pac-10 race?
Well, I don't know. We wanted, I guess, last year and have a lot of returning players, but we also lost to Arizona State and UCLA, and they also have a lot of good football players returning.
Well, that's, I guess, an answer that you could give, but I was wondering if you think then that your most serious challenge will come from the likes of Stanford, UCLA, and USC. Maybe that would be a way of putting it.
Well, we don't play USC this year.
That's true.
We have of our 3 early games, 2 of them are conference, and one's down in Arizona and one's here at Oregon, and they're probably as big a games as we're going to play. I really am probably more concerned about those. The rest will take care of themselves, but I think early on in the season, you kind of worry more about how your team's coming along and how you're going to handle the football, things like that.
Coach, in your opinion, how is it that Washington has been able to build itself up to such a football power that your teams have been able to go to the Rose Bowl in 3 of the past 5 years? You can't recruit from the larger areas of Los Angeles like UCLA and USC can, so what's been your secret at Washington?
Well, most coaches would probably like to tell you it was coaching, but it definitely is players, it's talent, but we don't get as many out of L.A. or San Francisco, but we go down here and get some good players, and we did right from the very first year I got here. In fact, I think we've got 3 or 4 playing in the NFL right now that were in our first 2 recruiting classes that are right out of the Southern California area.
Where is your main recruiting area, Don?
Well, we like to think in terms of trying to get the top kids out of the Northwest. We feel like, especially in the state, that if whoever's going to be successful up here, as far as the 4 Pac-10 schools, one of them has got to pretty well dominate. And of course, we go into California. I have 5 coaches that recruit California alone.
If you were an opposing coach going up against the Washington Huskies, which is, of course, your team, what things would you worry about the most if you're looking at a scouting report?
Well, hopefully that we've matured enough now that we've got pretty good balance that I would worry about the balance, the fact that maybe they can run on us and they can pass on us. One thing we've taken great pride in is our kicking game. I don't think we would have been in postseason play for the last 5 years had it not been for a very strong kicking game. Last year our defense was pretty good, and they're back. So, like I say, we hope we have just an overall balanced, good football team.
I'd like to know, how good is Jock Robinson, in your opinion, the tailback, the man who tore up the Iowa Hawkeyes back on January 1st? A lot of Hawkeye fans back here remember him.
Well, again, I think the mark of a good running back is to not do it once in your career, but do it consistently. And this is the thing that Jock has got to improve. And he really wasn't given an opportunity last year to play a whole lot. But again, I think getting the hard work done in fall camp, staying relatively free from injury, and I think he's got good ability. If he can just be fresh and feel good on game day, I think he'll get yards.
How about your starting quarterback, Don? Will it be Pallure or Tim Callan? If it is Pallure, then I'm wondering, how much will Tim Callan play?
Well, Steve Pallure has been the number one quarterback since Tim Callan was injured last year. Tim is having a good fall camp and is ready to play at this level. What we'd like to do is basically go with Steve in some situations, come in with Tim. We definitely want Tim to get some playing time.
And finally, Don, I'm wondering, since the polls are coming out this Saturday from both the Associated Press and United Press International, and since you're one of the balloters on the UPI poll this year, where do you think the Washington Huskies will be on those preseason polls? Or maybe better put, where would you like the Huskies to be?
Well, this being ranked relatively high in the summer magazines is a new experience for us. I think in order to try and get up into the top 2, 3, 4, 5, you almost have to be ranked someplace in the top 10. If you're not in the top 5, then other people have got to fall before you can get up there. But I would guess it will be someplace in the top 5, but who knows?
Don, good luck to you this season, and best wishes on another Rose Bowl trip for the Huskies.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Don.